Oh, sorry, we didn't wake you up, did we?
No, I was working.
Sounds like a globe already.
What, did someone make a statement about me? I love the attention.
I just said there's a major anti-flat earther in here, Sonny on the planet.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, okay. Oh yeah, man. I feel I'm moving, I'm spinning and wobbling. Like, don't you guys feel it too?
Why would I feel it? You're not supposed to feel it.
I can see wobbling from my window.
You in another earthquake, are you?
I can't even do it with a straight face, man.
Well, I know we're moving and spinning and wobbling because I can't feel it. There you go.
Exactly. No, I could actually see the wobbling and spinning out of my window at the street.
This is where we all make a bet in our minds where somebody's soon going to start getting into a car. You know, well, when I go in a car, I don't feel any emotion. Let me go.
There we go. Okay, turn the wheel and go around a roundabout.
Good point.
You feel it now?
What's that got to do with anything?
No, we're talking about linear motion, not acceleration. Why would I be accelerating?
But Timbo, do it over 24 hours. Do one full rotation.
Yeah, and increase the speed to 1,000 miles per hour then.
Yeah. Now, when you're traveling around the circle at 1,000 miles an hour, I want you to get up and walk to the front or the back of the vehicle.
Yeah, like you do on an airplane when you go to the toilet.
Doesn't sound too safe. Doesn't sound very safe, but, the Globers might just try it.
So what do you think would happen if the people in the ISS didn't work out their legs, right? And they were up there, let's say, like, if they claim where they are, if they really are up there, and they come back to Earth and they didn't work out their legs, they just did the normal routine.
They'd have very small muscles.
Would they be very weak? I mean, what are they claiming that the gravity's it's less up there, or no? They're falling, aren't they? They're falling around the Earth.
If you don't use your legs, then your muscles going to deteriorate, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. But are they up there? That's the difference.
Mm-hmm. We might as well be talking about how well Darth Vader can breathe under his mask.
So, do y'all think that they're just not up there at all?
You have to define where is where they are.
Where do they say they're at? They're at 200 something miles up.
Miles.
Okay, so is it that are they traveling fast because they're supposedly falling? They're falling around the Earth at that speed.
Well, are they up there though? Like, just because we see a light in the sky that goes past, they say it's 240 miles away, and the speed that it goes, the angular speed that it goes past, because it's at 240 miles away, they say it goes at 17,000 miles per hour. If you make that thing closer, like scale and variance, then it's actually not going that fast. But is that light actually a place where people are? That's the question.
Well, we know, like, wait, you're talking about observing it from the ground? Is that why you're saying the light?
Yeah. Well, there's nowhere else you can observe it from.
Okay, so do they have any footage of, like, let's say, like, one of the shuttles arriving and docking? Like, they're going up there to it. Is there any like
both traveling at 17,000 miles per hour?
No, you know how they have the cameras. Like, I've seen, like, the cameras showing the shuttle coming to the ISS and then connecting. But is there any footage of the opposite side? You know what I mean? Like that they're in there. They're in the little capsule coming up to the ISS. That's weird.
I don't know, but yeah. Have you ever been to a cinema?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever seen a space movie before?
A space movie, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like it could be pretty real, yeah.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but what I find strange is everything nowadays has a camera in it. You know what I mean? Even the cheapest car has a backup camera. You would think that they have cameras all over that thing to the point of everybody can log in, right? You can log in as if you're checking on your kid at the nursery, where these nurseries have a camera. Everybody can log in. They can switch from camera to camera. You know what I mean? And even it would say, hey, we're fixing to go over your hometown, at this time. Log in.
Yeah, I agree.
And then you could be
when they did
outside
that,
flashing a laser.
You know what I mean? That rescue, right? When they apparently rescued those two astronauts. Like, wouldn't you have live streamed that whole thing so that people could watch it? Yeah.
Yeah. And like I was saying, they could have a camera facing the Earth to where people can set up green laser beams. You know what I mean? Big, powerful ones. And then when it goes over, just not even tell them, but you do like a certain pattern.
Yeah, you could if they were actually there, but they're not there.
Right.
So,
well, I can't say they're not, because I mean that would mean they'd have to be like the governments around the world would have to be super smart. I mean, I'd have to give them a lot, and I just think that they're not that.
So
intelligent.
the governments make a movie, and that makes them super smart.
Well, they would have to. There'd have to be so much that I would think would go into keeping it a secret. I don't see how.
Okay, so let's think about that. Have governments successfully kept secrets?
Not for very long, but yeah, they try.
Well, you wouldn't know because they're secrets, right?
Oh, I'm glad you said that because I was going to.
Yeah, there's well, yeah, of course. I mean then we'd have a lot of conspiracy theories, right? We do have a lot of those, but right,
there are a lot
of conspiracy
ones
theories
that you wouldn't even think about because they're so secret. Decompartmentalization or compartmentalization. Sorry.
Yeah, my buddy, a good friend of mine, worked at NASA at the time that the space shuttle blew up with the teacher in it. What was that space shuttle?
Columbus? No.
The Challenger. He was the Challenger. He was the Asian dude was a good buddy of his. Of course, he knew them all because he worked there. But he developed film.
Did he have a twin brother?
No, this guy. Oh, you talk about like the Asian guy? Well, well, I talked to the guy. You mean if you look this dude up, he was pretty big.
He's dead.
Dude, I'm talking about my buddy.
He just worked for NASA.
Yeah.
At the time that happened.
Oh.
Yeah, my buddy's still alive. Yeah, he worked there. He developed the film, and the film that they took. This was back in the day, I guess, when they were still using Nikon film stuff. But so I talked to him about it, and of course he went on to be a pretty famous Hooters motorcycle racer. Anyway, but what was I going to say? Oh yeah, and I asked him. I said, "Hey man, did you ever like any in this film that you saw? Did you ever see anything weird?" I didn't want to push too much on him, and and I said, "Did you ever see any weird like orbs or anything?" And he said they saw all kinds of they developed the film that was developed. They saw all kinds of weird stuff, but he said they didn't really talk. They didn't really talk about it like openly. But he didn't say anything about them lying or anything. But of course, I didn't ask them. Are they really up there?
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Do you believe you live on a spinning space ball?
Yeah, I do. I mean, for years I didn't. Yeah, for years I was a flat earther for years.
Okay, what's your best evidence that you live on a globe?
I guess it would be the best evidence. I would say that I really don't have like evidence.
Well, you must have had something that sent you back from flat Earth to the globe.
Well,
just nothing.
No, I think what probably sent me back was the fact that I was kind of debunking myself when I started testing certain ideas that was a part of my belief.
We're not talking about an idea.
In the flat Earth.
Yeah, we're talking about something concrete, right?
Yeah, well, I'm
talking about sunbeams.
Now hear me out. So,
No,
as a
no, no.
photographer,
I'm not gonna listen to your elongated story. I
then
just want to
what?
know.
Okay, then never mind. And then we don't have to
All
even
right?
talk about it. All right.
Because I think you're talking shit, man.
Well, why are you asking me?
Because I want to know if you're talking shit.
I'm trying to talk. I'm trying to explain
You're
myself
trying to talk
how
shit.
I moved
Right,
over.
right.
No, I'm
Okay.
trying to
So,
explain to you why I believed and how I
first
stopped
I'll ask you
believing.
a question. Why
Okay.
did you think the Earth was flat?
Because I would say because I believe Eric Dubay, Nathan Oakley.
So you
I was people would say this, right? And I thought, wait a second, that
So
sounds
you're not
true
talking about a
because
concrete thing. You're
hey,
talking about an idea. So you were never a flat earther because you
look,
don't have any evidence of the flat Earth, and you don't have any evidence of the globe. So you're like a lost little puppy running around chasing his tail.
Timbo, he fits into
Dude.
that category of a flat Earth believer. Doesn't know
Yeah.
it. He just follows along, and then you come to a point where you couldn't answer a question. You just went back to what was comfortable.
And then you still can't answer a question about the globe.
okay, then I guess let's switch it up. Do you mind if I ask you a question?
Go on,
Go
then.
for it.
Okay, is the sun close or far away?
I've no
Don't know.
idea. What's the
No idea.
sun?
Are the sun rays that you see when you're at the beach? Are they when they're coming down and you see the sunbeams? Are they diverging or converging?
What do they look like,
neither?
or what are
Or
they?
neither? No. What are they doing?
Are they diverging or converging? Well, they're diverging from the sun.
Okay, so
Not in the
you
globe model, though. In the globe model, they're doing all three.
Yeah. What's the sun got to do with the surface of the Earth?
well, what
It's
makes y'all think?
It's interesting. It's interesting, right? We're
What
talking
makes
about
y'all think? Yeah,
you went-
I'm trying to understand this. So what makes y'all think that they're lying about?
It doesn't matter because the surface of the Earth measures to be flat. It's observed to be flat, and it's practically used as flat. So, in order for it to be curved and round and spherical, it would have to be viewed in that way, used in that way, and seen that way. But it's not.
What makes you think it's not spinning?
Why would they lie is also a concession. You're going back to flat Earth at this point.
Yeah, well, that's the main thing. Is like what?
Well, let's address what I just said.
What started it?
Address instead
Or
of
have they
moving
always been
over.
doing it?
Instead of moving over to it, let's talk about what I just said. So, your everyday experience of the place where you live is a flat stationary plane, correct?
Well, I mean, if I look out in space, either it's spinning or we
Not
are.
space. I'm talking about the place where you live. We're not talking about it spinning. We're talking about what I just said about it looking and you experiencing it every day, experiencing it. So, from your point of view,
Well, I can't
is
see
it
very
a
far.
flat?
If
Okay.
it is as big as they say it is, right? If it is as big as they say it is,
Why are you coming up with excuses?
it would still look
Why?
it'd still look flat even at a pretty high altitude if it's as big as they say it is and round. How would I be able to see any curvature? I mean, that's like
Okay, so your experience is not seeing curvature then. So your experience is flat.
well, I mean, I've had a couple of P900s and I've zoomed in and watched boats go down. I've seen where during the winter time, yeah, I've seen the boats, right?
Down
The water, right? It looks like they're going downwards. All of a sudden, the top of the sail disappears.
At what
And when
distance?
as far as my P900 would zoom out, but during the winter time, it causes looming.
From what height?
It causes. I'm on the beach at about I would say about 6-7 feet because usually the beach is
Okay, so it
above the water.
starts disappearing at 5 miles, does it?
3 miles.
Oh, well, during the summertime, it's a little further. During the wintertime, it seems like it's.
So the globe's bigger in the winter, or
no? I mean, that's just it's just the lumen effect, right? You can't see it because now there's like a.
So not a curve.
Just the way light. It's just the way light pushes up the image it makes it look like the image that's closer to you is kind of pushed up, creating like a false. See, I live.
That
I'm right by.
logic doesn't follow, bro. The
Well,
logic
he's-
doesn't follow because if things are above the horizon, you're saying it's refraction, but when they're below the horizon, you're invoking something totally different.
Well, see, I have an island that's about 4 miles off away from me that everybody goes and chills at. We go surfing there, and during the winter time, that island is almost completely cut off. Right, the boats that go towards it disappear, and like there's this wall of water, and you see the birds go down. They disappear behind this little fake horizon, just for an optical illusion. But
Fake.
during the
Okay,
well, when I
fake
say
horizon.
fake, it's like it's like an illusion. But then,
How do you know it's a
during
ball then?
but during the
You
winter,
said it was fake.
during the
Summer.
summertime. Well, you know what I mean. Just using that word. So during the summertime, you see the boats go way past the island,
It
way
should be
on
the
out there.
opposite. Is it humid in summer where you are?
Yeah,
Well, it's more the air, right? It's more dense near the Earth's
In the
surface
summer?
during the winter time. I believe
No, it's not. It's the
is it
opposite.
the opposite?
Yeah, your story's not.
Yep.
In winter, when it's colder, it's denser.
Thank you. So was I right or
There's
wrong?
less moisture in the air.
Yeah,
Or
but
allegedly,
the
yeah.
molecules don't move around as much. I just noticed what I saw because I'm like, wait, how come half of the island's disappeared? This doesn't make sense. And I watched the boats and I'm like, oh, that's crazy. That's an optical illusion. Well,
Oh, so it's an optical illusion then.
yeah. And I think
And
that
not
most
Earth
people,
curve.
so
not Earth
right
curve.
can only right. I didn't say it was Earth's curve. I was trying to get somewhere. So during the summertime, when those boats go way out there, I can continue seeing them going, right? And now it takes further distance to get the same optical illusion. So even though if it's as
Both
big as
optical illusions.
so it's if you hear me out. So even though if the Earth's a globe, it's so big that if you're on the surface of the water, right, you're still going to get that effect. It just takes a lot further to get the effect.
So how do you know that? So how do you know that it is curved if they're both optical illusions?
I never said I knew that it was a globe.
So
I
what
don't
was the
know.
point of
I
that
just
story
believe it.
then?
Because I believe it is.
Didn't we ask you for evidence?
I don't know if you asked me for evidence or not.
I'm pretty sure
I
it
don't
did.
remember.
Yeah, what was the bit of evidence?
Like I said, I don't have any evidence that it is or isn't. I'm just
You didn't have
just
any
believe.
evidence for the. You didn't have any evidence for the flat Earth either. To start believing in the flat Earth and then going back to the globe with no evidence either.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean, I used to believe, the train tracks, all that stuff about, that it's got to be flat because they don't build these bridges to go
Train-
along with curvature
Well,
and
Train tracks go
Train
up
tracks.
hills. They go over mountains. Look at the
Right.
Rocky Mountain here. What the
Yeah,
fuck is
I'm
that?
talking about-
what
I'm
are you
talking
talking about?
like the Pontchartrain
Do you think
Causeway.
all train tracks are laid on a flat surface?
No, Pontchartrain Causeway.
It's a
Things
bent bridge.
that are it's the Pontchartrain Causeway, the part that the train goes over. You have the bridge that the car goes over, and then you have one that's built for the train, which is in a different little area. But
And what? What about it?
yeah, I'm saying that it's when they say none of the curvature is not built into the design, which it wouldn't have to be.
So it's not. So what?
Yeah, so all the stuff that I used to think, that I heard Eric DeBay say and Nathan Oakley, I used to be on his show like almost every day. And I never really, I guess you'd say, tested it. You know what I mean? I mean,
Well, you never tested it.
so what makes you think that the earth is flat?
because
Every day I use it that way.
How?
Well, I'm a
What
builder
instruments
and a
have
plumber.
you used?
I'm a builder and a plumber.
How do you use it? What do you use in plumbing to show the earth's flat?
water.
Well, water's got to go downhill in the drain, doesn't
Well,
it?
Yeah, but you're
It's
how far are you
downhill
building?
from horizontal.
Okay, so how do you make and how does that help you know the Earth's flat?
Well, if it wasn't flat, you wouldn't have a horizontal.
Yeah, but you're going off of what?
Horizontal.
The surface of the Earth.
Right. So, well, explain it to me. So you're creating a plumb line, right? So you
Explain
got a plumb line.
horizontal. Why am
You're
I creating a plumb line?
Well, you're saying you're using. So, oh, you don't mean a plumb bob, or do you?
Why did I use a plumb bob in 2025?
Okay, what are you using?
Well, we use lasers now.
Okay, and how far do those lasers? Like, what are you using to show you that? I mean, if you're using those lasers, how are you using it to show that the Earth's flat? I don't get it.
You don't get how we use horizontals and perpendiculars.
No, I understand that. But what I'm saying is, you're saying water, right, runs downhill.
Yeah.
So now you're coming
Yeah.
from. So you have gravity, right? So you have gravity pushing down, right? And so when you're using this plumb,
Huh?
you're saying because it's not. Are you saying because it's not running downhill, it's the whole Earth's flat, or what are you trying to say?
What?
Dude, I'm trying to understand you. You're using a plumb. You're in construction. Is that what you said?
Yeah. So if you can, do you know what a water level is? Not a bubble level, but a water level.
Yeah.
Right. So you can go
Right.
around corners with water levels, right? So if you're setting up a drain and you've got say a 600-meter building, right?
Right.
And you've got to go around the corner and you can't shoot a laser to that point. You can use a water level and it will give you the same height around that building. And you can set a point on that building and you can say, all right, I've got 600 meters here. Now I need to work on a 2% grade. So I'm going to be down 2 meters from this building. That's going to be my gradient. So water demonstrates that level is level, and anything below that level is below that level. That creates a horizontal reference. That creates a horizontal reference plane. Right?
I'm glad you said level.
How far are you taking?
All over the place. Sorry to interrupt.
You take it how far you want.
So how far have you taken it to show you that, okay, it's definitely 8 inches per mile square, whatever they claim it is?
Definitely 8 inches per mile squared. There's no measurement of 8 inches per mile squared.
Well, how far have you taken it to prove to you that it's flat?
Well, we did 3 kilometers.
To disprove something. He's proving over any distance, right?
Exactly. We set up a storm drain at 1% over 3 kilometers, which is over a mile, and it had to be just 1%. So we had two datums on the road, and they both gave the same height above sea level, 3 kilometers apart. Now we used both of those datums, and we set up a grade laser, and we ended up with those barrel drains. We used both of those datum points, which were both the same height. Now, if we used both of those datum points that were at the same height and there was a curve in the middle, then we would have been out, and it wouldn't be 1% grade anymore. It would be curved, and this thing was dead straight on grade.
So you're using lasers too, right? Of
course.
So how far do lasers? Dude. So how far do lasers?
Well, this one in particular goes.
How far can you go and trust it? Like
this one in particular goes 5 kilometers. If you ask me a question, you can wait for the answer. This one in particular on grade goes 5 kilometers.
I really wasn't done asking what I wanted to ask, but so
you said how far can it go and be trusted, right?
No, yeah. How far can a laser go before it starts to deviate too much, where it's like, okay, that we can't use it?
This one in particular goes 5 kilometers.
And how many miles is that?
3 miles, I suppose, something like that.
So 3 miles. Okay. So do you think we could use this? Because this guy told me he would pay me like $10,000 to do this, and of course, this is back when I was a big I was believing the Earth was flat. Could we take that laser and go to the Pontchartrain Causeway and set up at mile 16 at the pillars? I think there's like a pillar. Well, it's not a pillar. It's like a big cement little wall, that protects the ships from crashing into the bridge. It's kind of off of bridge, but they set there at 15 feet. Do you think we could set up the laser and shoot the laser to where it goes down, the horizontal or parallel with the Earth's surface? So it's 15 feet, the first one, go to the next pillar, measure it at 15 feet, the center of the diameter of the laser, whatever, and then go down another 15 feet, another mile to the next pillar, make sure that it's still set at 15 feet, and then go back to the beginning and then zoom in. And we should see that the laser beam eventually.
You don't need to zoom in. You can use a storyboard, which is the telescopic ruler that you use, and you can make your marks along the way.
Well, what I'm saying is, I think it would be good to set up somebody's P1000 or camera with a telescope on the end of it, where they did what's his name, Soundly's videos showing the curve or whatever. But the curve really doesn't start showing. Yeah, the curve really doesn't start showing until like mile 5. But I was thinking if we could get a laser.
Why mile 5? Wait a minute.
I just noticed on the markers that the compression or whatever's going on really doesn't really show much curvature.
It should show up after the first mile of 8 inches.
Well, I think that the way that the lens is like compressing the light somehow. You know what I mean? Like whenever it zooms in, it's like a dot. It's like
you're going to make excuses for why it's not there.
No. So the dolly zoom effect. Whenever like I do a video, if I have,
we're not talking about that. We're talking about taking measurement readings.
I understand that. Yeah, but
I'm not worried about your P1000.
No,
it's unimportant.
Hear me out. You're asking me how come you can't really see it until around marker 15. 5. It might be 5 or 6. It's been years since I looked at it.
If you have a laser set up and you go and use a measuring stick and you go out to each pillar and you pick up the laser on each pillar, it should show after mile 1. 8 inches difference.
So, no, I got you. What I mean is, when you zoom in, we should see the laser beam.
What? Zoom in from
the other side. So you're going to zoom in using a telescope camera, and you're going to zoom in, and you're going to see the green laser. If you just let me stop for just a second, man.
Seeing a laser.
If you just let me finish real quick.
I know what you're saying.
What
do you think that seeing a laser in a camera is good enough to measure from the other side? That's a bit silly, isn't it?
No, hear me out, man.
That laser could be coming from anywhere.
Hear me out. We're going to have the laser strapped to the pillar.
I know what you're talking about.
Okay, so we're going to zoom in from the other side to the beginning.
You don't have to zoom in on anything.
So because at nighttime, the way that a lens compresses the
you don't need
light.
A camera. You don't need a camera.
Man.
The camera's going to give you false readings.
Hear me out. We should see if the laser is continually to go parallel with the bridge, the rail, which the cars are going down. If it is continuing, if it does,
a measuring stick
from
the water's surface. You don't need a camera.
Hear me out. I get what you're saying. Hear me out. As the laser, listen, as the laser, right, the diameter gets bigger, converges, diverges as it gets bigger and bigger. But when you zoom in from way back there, it's going to compress the image to let you see the laser beam going over the rail and straight and out over the trees by the end of mile 25. Of course, it's probably going to be disappearing about mile 10. Yeah, you should be. You should see that. Yes.
You can't see that. You can't see that.
I'm telling you, you use the camera, which would show it big time when it compresses it, because if the bridge was actually bending, right, and not being an optical illusion like Soundly's pictures seem to be, because it's like bending big time.
Are you talking about the bridge bending?
Yes.
Or are you talking about a laser being picked up above the water at the same
No.
height, all the way
Yeah,
across?
we're setting the laser to run parallel next to that bridge where the pillars are at. That are right,
Yeah.
the protection
Yeah,
pillars.
you're not going to see it unless there's smoke in the air. Yeah.
A green laser at night it should be just fine.
You're
At the-
not
at the
going to
Pontchartrain.
see it unless there's smoke in the air or fog.
That's not true, man. You should be able to see it.
What's it reflecting off in the air?
It doesn't need to. Have you ever shot a green
God, man.
laser? Have you ever
I
shot a
use
green
green
laser
lasers all the time at work.
at night? At night.
Yes. Yep. You can't see them unless there's something in the air.
Well, I can see green lasers. I mean, I understand that. Yeah, sure, a fog would really help. But look at the
Right,
tests they do.
Okay, let's pretend we can see. Let's pretend we can see green lasers all the time. Yeah. What are you expecting the green laser to do?
Well, if the bridge is an optical illusion, all that curvature you see in Soundly's
The
pictures,
top
right?
of the bridge, or the pillars of the bridge?
All of it. If you look at his video, it's all
You mean
curving.
all of it?
The bridge, the cars.
Don't worry about his images, right? We're going to set up the green laser at 6 foot off the water, right? And we're going to run. We're going to take every pillar. We're going to go to every pillar on the boat, and we're going to measure a difference in height: 1 mile, 2 miles, 3 mile, and then at the end, right? And then you're going to know, because water's supposed to be level. If the water's not level, then you're going to measure an increase in height as you go from mile 1 to mile 2, mile 3. Don't worry about the top of the bridge, because the top of the bridge is not built level for a purpose. Just worry about the laser height off the water. That's all you need to worry about.
Well, the bridge is supposed to be about 20 feet all the way down, except for the spot where the boats go under. So if you could run that line near the rail, you should see it eventually. By the end of in the image, you should see it above the rail and look like it's going out into the sky instead of running parallel with the bridge, if the bridge is actually curving.
Yeah, great. Yeah.
But don't they make some type of thing you can put on the end of the laser to keep it, I don't know, more?
Yeah, collimator. You sound like you've done this before.
No, I just talked about it before with I don't know, some flat Earth channel or something. They thought it was a great idea, and they were like, then this dude was like, "I'll pay you $10,000."
It's already been done
At the Soundly Bridge or a Pontchartrain Bridge.
No, it's been done over lakes, up to 25 miles.
But was it running along a structure that they claim is curving as well, besides just water?
Yeah, water.
Yeah.
So you disagree that water's level, because you were saying that. So that structure's built. You said 10 foot above the water.
No, 20. Yeah, the I think
above the water, the whole
bridge.
Hang on.
Yeah.
20 foot above the water the whole way along. So you're saying that's claimed to be straight, but the water's not straight.
No, the reason why I'm using the bridge is because if the bridge is curving, right? Like you said, we could use the water.
But
we could measure from the water
you're not
up.
getting it. So you're going, okay, if the bridge is 20 foot above the water the whole way along, and you're saying the bridge is claimed to be straight because it's 20 foot above the water the whole way along, then that would be the claim that the water's straight, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and I'm just using the bridge as
why can't we
as
just
something that
use
it can
water
go. Because hear me out, because that way you don't. Because we could have an image showing that the laser is actually now above the rail, no longer next to the rail going straight.
Okay,
but yes, yes, you could use the water. I mean, you could go all the way down and measure the column. But the problem is the beam is going to be so big, you know, by the end of those 25 miles to find the middle of that laser. But if you're using a lens and you're zooming in, we know that looking at a laser, right, as it moves away from you, it looks like it's, you know, diverging, but we know it's really getting bigger and bigger. So you'd get a better image showing the laser slowly going up if the bridge is really curving, right?
Yeah,
Because
it sounds like to me like you're looking for falsification of the globe rather than measurement of flat. So, like Timo's just saying, just shoot it over the water, man. Measure it flat.
Oh,
Why
we
isn't
got,
that good
but to prove
Why isn't
to
that
me,
good enough? No.
well, to me,
You don't need
to prove to the,
No, you don't need. No, you don't need to do that. You do not need to disprove something that hasn't been proven. Let them do that. You're just seeing what the surface does, and guess what? It doesn't curve.
okay,
Welcome
then what
to
about,
flat Earth.
well, what do you think about this then? What if you took a electric gyroscope, like a brass one, spin it like
Not interested.
30? No, hear me out.
Not
Because
interested, bro.
I
I'm not interested in
threw
you
that.
wanting to
Okay.
give the globe hall passes. Oh, they make a claim. I have to disprove their claim. No, they have to
this
prove their
is,
claim. Just make them fucking prove their claim. I'm
this
not
isn't
going
for
to
them.
the Earth is flat
This
until
is
I see all the claims falsified and proven wrong. And then the Earth's flat, right?
well. Then what do y'all think about this? What would happen if I was to take a gyroscope, right, and I was to put it on a plane, spun at 30,000 miles, 30,000 RPMs, right? And if I could get it to start spinning on the tarmac, which I doubt I'll ever be able to do this, but do y'all think once it gets going about 800 miles an hour, that within an, I don't know, 30 minutes to an hour, that I should see the axis of that gyro start rolling back towards me if we're going, I don't know, east to west or whatever direction, you know what I mean? If the Earth is a globe, shouldn't we see that? Because what they say is 15 degrees per hour on the equator. So if you're going, go ahead.
So that's what artificial horizons are, and they don't show any deviation. The Earth is flat when they take off. The artificial horizon stays where it is, and then you land. Whether it's hundreds or thousands of miles, it's the same. In fact, we have black box data that prove that.
Well, I mean, we're talking about ones that have like pendulous veins, where it's kind of like an auto, where they claim it's like an auto fix to keep the axis to Earth. I'm talking about one that doesn't have that, kind of like the ones they used before, like 1911 or 16 or whatever it was, the ones they used in the olden days. You know what I mean? Like the old school gyro.
Yeah, I understand that, but if all the data on the instruments, I mean, the pendulous veins, those are flat Earth proofs as well, because you could kind of think of it as like a plumb bob, right? It has to maintain its horizontal, or its vertical to horizontal, so it's still measuring a flat Earth. You can get pitch measurements on these planes, right? And they maintain nose up, 3 degrees above horizontal for 1,000 miles. Everything on the instruments as far as the plane goes gives you a flat Earth measurement.
So somebody's actually done that, or are you just saying that planes just?
Yeah, no, we've got the data right here. Once I pull over here, I'll just post it in the side chat unless somebody beats me to it. But
well,
I mean, the data's there.
And I know, like what the other guy said, well, it's 2025. We use different instruments. Is there anything they use now, like a laser gyro, that shows the Earth is steel, no curvature?
You're just playing dumb. You know.
Or do they all use these lasers in planes now?
No,
Or is it?
You already know.
See, they have to affirm their positive claim. There's no instrument that they can show us that shows any kind of rotation. So the absence of rotation, or proof thereof, is a stationary Earth, right?
the best part is you don't need Flat Earth to say that either. Brian Cox went on a nationally syndicated podcast, Joe Rogan. I drew a blank there for a second. And he just straight up told you cannot tell the difference. There is no earthbound way of determining if you're moving or not. It's not possible.
So the gyros just not are worthless anyway, is what you're saying?
No, they're very useful.
Yeah, they maintain their... Oh, go ahead, sorry.
You were going to take it the way out of my mouth, but they maintain rigidity in space.
Yeah,
right?
That's what.
So
go ahead.
You need that to make sure that your roll, your pitch, and your yaw are what they read out on your instrument panel.
So if that's true, then what I'm saying is, if I was to get an electric gyro, and I was to activate it, and I was to wait, 1 hour, it should still show. Besides, I would give it that, whatever what they say when a gyro spins, it kind of deviates a little bit. I'd give it that, but then I should also see a huge. If I'm going over a globe at 1,000 or 800 miles an hour, and let's say we're flying east, right? The Earth's spinning 1,000 miles an hour. Here I am living near the equator, and we're going east. Shouldn't it be locked in, like you said, into space, in correlation to space, and have no respect for Earth's curvature or the spin? And it should show the axis rolling back towards me pretty quickly, right?
Okay, does it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Does it?
I don't know. I was just wondering if I did this. What according to what he was saying, that it's locked, it's rigid in space. That should be.
No, that's what I'm asking. I'm saying, does it do that?
I have no idea. I've never done it. I just thought it'd be a good thing to try. If there is curvature, it'd be.
They're used to maintain that rigidity in space, so the aircraft knows what orientation it is in relation to itself, its roll, pitch, and yaw, and the surface of the Earth.
But don't they use like lasers and then ones that I don't even think they use the one with, maybe prop planes do, but the ones that have the pendulous vanes that keep correcting it.
Correcting to what?
To be plumb.
Well, okay, so just down then. So it's making sure that it is down.
Yeah,
okay.
the axis, yeah. And I want to do the opposite. I want it to be locked and not be corrected. So I can see that we're actually, the angle of the plane is, of course, staying parallel with the Earth's surface, but in relation to space, it's going to
correct but it's going to correct if you change your pitch, isn't it?
The one that's sitting in front of me on my little TV tray.
I'm not talking about that.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. Like, as far as doing a test. That's what I mean. Like, if I was to get a spinning gyro, and if I had a buddy with a plane and it wasn't a big deal with this thing, you know what I mean? Like an actual test.
Yeah, but what are you expecting to see, though?
I would expect at first, when I start spinning it, right, the axis would be perpendicular to the Earth's surface, and then it would stay rigid, like the guy was saying, in space, and then we would fly forward at 800 miles an hour. So,
are you in doubt that the Earth is motionless?
Yeah.
What?
Are you in doubt? Are you in doubt that the Earth is not moving?
Like I said, I was a flat earther for years, and I now believe that I was.
Do you know how to answer a fucking question, bro?
But now,
are you in doubt that the Earth is motionless?
Dude, I doubt a lot of things. Yeah, I mean, I there may be a chance that it is. It may be a chance that it's flat.
No, and I'm talking about the motion. Are you in doubt that the Earth is
vice versa,
motionless?
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much doubt everything.
Why?
Well,
why are you in doubt? Why are you in doubt of your natural experience?
Well, because I also spearfish. I'm a diver. I do deep. I go down deep in the ocean, So I look at how the Earth spins. If the Earth is spinning and everything near the Earth's surface is pretty much
You don't
in
see
motion.
that. No, stop. You
is
don't
in-
see that. You don't see that.
you didn't let me
don't
explain.
Observe it. You don't. No.
When I'm in a tide, hear me out. When I'm spearfishing and there's a tide, a rip current, and I'm down 60 feet, if I have nothing above me, like a reference, like the boat that's anchored, locked in place, or the seafloor that's in place, everything around me is moving in the same direction. I can move in any direction at the same force, and I feel everything looks like it's moving with me. I don't even know, and it's a dangerous situation to be in. So everything in relation. No, I don't know.
Yeah, you do.
No, I don't. Everything, all the particles are moving with me.
Can't know.
No, you cannot know.
Can't know.
See? Go spearfishing. It's
Ghana wants to talk now. Yeah, I spearfish. Yeah.
Okay. Same thing would be if you're in.
So when are you in a situation where you can't see the floor or something else around you?
No, I'm saying if I couldn't.
But when are you in that situation? 'Cause you were telling me that you can't tell, but you've never been in a situation where you can't tell.
Because if you have only visibility of, let's say, 20, 30
but
feet.
Have you ever been in that situation?
Yes.
You just said no.
No, he just explained that he's been in that situation when spearfishing.
Yeah, spearfishing is
a rip current he can't tell because he's moving.
Ghana, you sound like you don't even know how to swim, so just be quiet, all right?
Yes, and then you come popping up, and you're way away from the boat. You know, you're like, what the? Because you lose sight of the anchor line. You lose sight of the wreck and the boat.
Are you relating that to relative motion?
Yeah, the fish around you, they're sitting there. I mean, yes, some swim around, but everything is moving in relation. In my vision, everything around me is moving in the same direction, unless the fish is swimming in the opposite direction. Then it makes
you going around in circles.
It makes me think my environment, right? It's still.
Are you going around in circles?
So that's how I look at. That could be how we experience.
Are you going around in circles?
If the whole Earth is moving like in a big current,
dude, answer the question or you're done.
Then yes,
okay? This is getting frustrating.
Are you going around in circles?
Wait, am I going around in circles?
Yeah.
Not that I mean, I might be. I don't know. I never noticed me going in circles.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry, I just get frustrating. This guy just dodging so much.
Yeah, no.
When you spearfish,
he's asking a goofy commercial. I mean,
no, because you're not paying attention.
What's the whole going in circles? What's that having to do with spearfishing in the ocean?
Because that would be
you're talking about relative motion. Yeah?
Earth. Think about it. Rotation of the Earth is what you're trying to compare your fucking fish story to. Timbo's just asking you, is this akin to going around in a circle? Have you gone around in circles, have you?
Well, the Earth is so big. Yeah, if I'm talking about spearfishing, how am I going to know? How am I going to know that I'm going? If I was at Disney, right, in one of those lazy rivers,
fuck off,
no, if it was a big enough river,
shut the fuck up.
It was going in a circle.
Hey.
Like a lazy river, like when you go to like the water park and you just, tease it, man.
He knew every question to ask about motion and stuff like that. He was just being trolly, man. He knew about gyroscopes, laser gyroscopes. He knew.
I work on Wall Street and I'm better at math than all you retards. So who wants to debate?
Good on you, man.
Yeah. So who's here is mathematically illiterate and needs to be educated on this?
This is Dunning-Kruger effect.
No. How does it feel to be just?
No, this is Dunning-Kruger. As soon as you rate, as soon as you
let's talk about stochastic calculus.
You are Dunning-Kruger. You are peak.
So when I'm doing like Brownian motion,
who cares?
Who cares? Simulations.
You're Dunning-Kruger pretender clown.
Yeah,
you're Dunning-Kruger. You're a Dunning-Kruger pretender
Hey,
clown.
yeah, our bank accounts say otherwise.
You're
buddy.
straight up
Yes,
Dunning-Kruger
want to compare
pretender
bank
clown.
accounts on screen share?
You rated.
Yeah,
you
that's
rated.
what I thought. That's what I thought.
You
That's what I
rated
thought. You're a
yourself
nobody. That's what I
above your
thought.
people. You're a
That's
Dunning-Kruger
what I
pretender
thought.
clown.
You're a nobody. If I'm Dunning-Kruger, how come my P&L for the year's over 3 million and you're a nobody?
You
Who cares,
rated
man?
yourself against someone else with illusionary superiority. You are textbook Dunning-Kruger.
He's gone, man. Pagano, do you want to talk up now? Show us how you know how you learnt to swim. And now you got no one to back you up. You don't want to talk anymore. Mr. Reality, your mate, I don't think he's coming back off mute because he just doesn't listen. Unless you guys want to talk to him, I'll mute up if you want to talk to Mr. Reality.
Not really.
No, he just talks shit. Oh god, Nuckin fights, man. We got some real good
Not really.
globies in here.
Speak to him either.
Yeah.
This will be a good test for him. He's always saying,
Go for it.
Crit constantly disconnects me and bans me every time I'm in the VC with him. So let's see. Here I am in the VC with him, and let's see if he gets disconnected. Like, he'll blame me. I'll be AFK. I'll come back, and he'll be like, look, at Crit disconnect me. Really? With psychic powers, you dumb fuck? I just zapped Discord while AFK. God, straight up retard. Like, how do you even know? Like, what data points did you draw that conclusion upon? Just making shit up all the time. All they do is make shit up, accuse people of things with no evidence behind it. They never even tries to figure out what happened and why. See, now he doesn't want to talk. He's going to have egg on his face that I'm here.
So
It's
I'm
over
not
for you, man.
I'm not interested in a
You
dive.
can't do elementary school
right?
math. It's that. It's
It
crazy.
doesn't matter. I don't really care.
It does
I
matter.
don't need to-
It really
I don't
does.
need
Like,
to
if you're trying to
prove-
understand how Earth is flat,
Okay, I don't need to prove anything to you. What I'm asking is, you're going to do an equation. I want to know what your starting measurement is, because in order to do an equation, you need a starting measurement. What is your starting measurement based off?
yeah. And to do an equation, you need to be able to do elementary.
Okay, so what is your measurement that you're going to start your equation off?
It's the fact that you can't do elementary school math.
Okay, that's not a measurement.
I mean, you're not making yourself look that.
Yeah, that's not a measurement, dude. So if you in order for an equation, you need some solid numbers, correct?
Yeah. You also need to be able to do highest.
Yeah. So what's the solid number that you measured that you're going to start your equation from?
The number is your shit at math. You can't.
Okay. See you later, dude.
Oh no, come back.
Oh. Oh, God. People who
is Joe,
I don't
you know,
want to
Joe
talk,
the young.
but I'm going to open my mic and talk and ask why other people can't talk.
You're pretty shit at math, though. But yeah.
Okay, no worries. That's fine. Doesn't mean the Earth's a globe, dude. I don't know why a random person's insult you think would affect me. Like, it's stupid. If you just want to talk about the subject, that's fine. It doesn't affect me what you say. That's fine.
No, I think he left. That's the same guy who keeps coming back with the stock. Is it the Mr. Reality Man? Is he the same guy from Raiden from the home server? A different guy.
No,
I'm pretty sure that's Joe.
A different tone.
Pretty sure.
okay.
I'm sure.
Yeah, because Reality Man Raiden, he's all right. I mean, he's like the one where he thinks that he wants it to be a globe because it at least offers some hope for humanity. You know,
Yeah, I
if
don't
it's
mind
flat-
him actually. Yeah.
Yeah, he's all right. Because I agree with him. I would agree with him because a globe would offer you some hope, which is why all these peace movements and environmental movements respond from the Apollo program. People saw the Earth from space and they're like, damn, let's do something to fix this stuff. But then what you realize is that no one really gave a shit anyway, and all these environmental movements and peace movements were dead by the 80s. So I would say, yeah, the globe would give you some hope for the future. Or at least possibility. That's how you know the Earth is flat, because in heliocentric, you've got anything is possible. Your imagination is the only limit. But here on Earth, nothing's possible. The same set of conditions, day in, day out, no change, nothing new under the sun. So that's how you...
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
It's just that Mr. Reality, the banker guy who says he's the greatest banker, makes $3 million a year. That's most likely Joe, the 17-year-old little spastic kid. You know, Joe that comes in and says he won, and he says, "Oh, I won." You know.
Yeah. Deadly. I think people mostly know him as Deadly.
That's another one of his names, Deadly, with some numbers after. Yeah, that's most likely him with the pass around voice changer thing going on.
I just tabbed in. Yeah, it looks like Nucking just left. Easy to talk shit when I'm not here, huh, buddy? Turd. Just straight up turd. Just a road turd.
He's a real extra strange dude, because when he gets into a conversation, he'll like start breathing really erratically, and it's some of the craziest radio to listen to. It's like a caged animal sometimes.
Yeah, it's like the conversations I had with him, it always goes into these like pedantic understandings. Like he'll say, Earth is not a flat because storms have never passed the equator. And I'm like, okay, well here is 11 storms that have passed the equator. And then he's like, no, they didn't. And I'm like, really? Okay, citation, evidence, news articles, like people like NASA saying these storms pass the equator because of meteorology and topography, some strange event. They're not supposed to. We understand this breaks the model. We don't know. There's some variable here that's causing these storms to react in a way that is counter to the Coriolis force. And he's like, oh yeah, but none of them pass the equator. You're like, dude, what are you talking about? And one of them says, this storm, the 1 in a million storm that passes the equator. He's like, oh, the eye never passed the equator. And then right in the article it says, the eye was on the equator at the timestamp. And just one thing after that, like another. Like he'll never get it. It's like every single word is just a complete like it's so subjective. Everything is so subjective that nothing means anything. You're like, okay, how about the equator? Can you give me a line? Where is your equator? Couldn't tell me that either. Like a constant shifting of the goalposts, so he's never wrong but never right either.